Guys, welcome to Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. Today, the best stream that nobody's watching. We're going to be talking about KJ Parker's Devices and Desires. This is the first book in the Engineer trilogy, and this begins the concluding read along. It's been a successful year of read alongs on my channel. I've liked everything all the series that we've read, which is really awesome. It has, however, in the back of the year, precluded me from reading much else, just because I'm reading 2 books a month. But at least they've been good books. So this is the KJ Parker trilogy, the Engineer trilogy by KJ Parker, and Zara unfortunately could not join us. She just was not feeling it at the time, and for a KJ Parker book that is over 600 pages, I completely understand if you're not feeling like reading it at the time. So hopefully Zara reads it. I mean, she will. Zara read it eventually anyway, and hopefully she likes it as well. But we must carry on, and so instead I have Evie, Anitha, and Pete here. All of us rocking our favorite characters, and Pete rocking the death machines. That's his favorite character, are the catapulti.
Look, this is the
ballista.
reason he wrote this.
I mean, so he could talk about how to make scorpions. This man is
obviously.
What does this guy not know how to do? At any rate, so yeah, so we're gonna talk about this, and so to start off, what? Because this is I've read one of his trilogies, and that's the Cyrus Corax trilogy. That the second book comes out in a couple weeks or something, and I really like that. But it is from first person, so this is the first trilogy that I've started reading where it's third person, and I have realized from reading Cyrus Corax and this and the novellas and the other standalones that I know without a doubt that I personally prefer Parker's third person works to his first person works. I think mostly just because he can change POV. Like, you couldn't tell this just from Ziani's perspective. So we got multi POVs. I've read all of Parker's short fiction and one of his trilogies, his most recent trilogy, and all of his standalones. So Savages, The Company, The Hammer, The Folding Knife, and Sharps. And now this. And of them, The Folding Knife is my favorite of the standalones, and then Sharps is my least favorite by a lot. And I really like this book. I like this book a lot. The longer I sit with it, the more I end up liking it. I'm not this may be one of the bleaker books. I mean, The Hammer is quite bleak. The Company is quite bleak. I think The Folding Knife is the least bleakest. Or the least bleakest. Look at my double superlative. I think The Folding Knife is the least bleak of the standalones. I think, well, it's the Sharps too, but I mean, who cares about Sharps? It's mid. Anyway, Anitha, thoughts? What all have you read of Parker's, and what are where does this book stand? What's up, Jimmy? Joining for no reason.
Hey, Jimmy. I read 3 standalones: Folding Knife, Company, Hammer. I liked all of them. I love Folding Knife a lot. Still, Basso is the most compelling and charming character for me. But when I read Company and Hammer, I felt like I liked them more. And I enjoyed Cyrus Corax as well, first book I read. But I finished only last night. I think this is my least favorite of Parker.
Wow. Have you read many of the novellas or anything?
No, I haven't read any novel.
Have you read Purple and Black?
No.
You haven't read Purple and Black, Anitha? What are you fake fan? What are you even doing here, Anitha? Just log off and go read that. How have you not read Purple and Black? Here I was thinking you had.
I will read it.
No, Anitha, we're moving on from you. Pete.
Bye. So
I know Pete's read Purple and Black.
Yes, absolutely, multiple times. So I've read some of the novellas, mostly from the Academic Exercises collection, as well as
which is the
Folding
best
Knife,
of the collections, in my opinion.
Folding Knife, Hammer, and the Company, and then this. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I think I like the Company the best. Okay. But
That's fair.
Yeah. So the Company, I think the thing about the Company that I liked the best was like the interpersonal dynamics between all the Company members. And I think the Engineer right now trilogy kind of like, well, this book kind of stands pretty close to the top, because I think there's a little bit more in terms of interpersonal dynamics that aren't. I'm trying to figure out how I want to, because it's not like the characters aren't fleshed out. It's I feel like the Company characters are much more vibrant than some of the side characters or POVs in this one, where I think the way I put it, I feel like everybody in this series besides Ziani feels like a tool in a metaphorical and a slang sense. It's really weird.
I mean, I get that. Like, I think part of the reason I like Folding Knife the best is Basso is the best combination of the protagonists of competent, ethically, questionable, but not sociopathic the way that Kunessen is, or Ziani is, or and Gignamai is too sad for me. Like, he's just too sad. He's too sad and milquetoast. And then, like, I don't even remember any of the Sharps characters. So and the Cyrus Corax seems like just like a less prolific Saturninus, freaking Saturninus. But yeah, no, I get that. I liked that this one has multiple main characters. Like, Ziani is not really the lead, even though the back of the book makes you think it is. He is. There are what, like 3 main characters? 4? No, there's 3. It's Dukas, Valens, and Ziani are the main characters, right? There's no one who's as big as them. Like, I know we've got Orsea and
Beatrice are mostly like secondary characters.
Yeah. So it's Meal, it's Meal, Dukas, Ziani, and Valens that are the main characters, and I really enjoyed that. Evie, your thoughts?
For my thoughts, see your guys' thoughts. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to shout out.
Oh, dang! I didn't even notice you were wearing a shirt with my stuff on it. I love it.
Go down to the Redbubble link down below in the description, doobly-doo, as John Green would say, and order a Library of Alexandria shirt. And
as they say in the Library of Alexandria, don't forget to be awesome.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of Crash Course.
Oh, got it. Oh, you said it, as they say in Library of Alexandria, and I was very confused.
Sorry, as they say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.
Okay, yeah. So, this is my first series. Engineer Trilogy's first series. I've read The Folding Knife and the Hammer, and I've also read Academic Exercises, Father of Lies, and Under My Skin. Of the standalones, unpopular opinion apparently, The Hammer is my favorite so far, but it sounds like I'm really gonna love The Company. So
no, I love the fact that we all like different ones the best. Like, I love that.
But I'm saying, because I haven't read The Company yet, I have a feeling I'm gonna love The Company.
I think so
more
too.
than The Hammer.
I think so, especially since you like Ziani, like, yeah, you're gonna like The Company, because Kunessen is. I hate him. I just freaking hate him. He's fascinating. Yeah. I'm reading all the standalones again next year. That's my plan. Like, I haven't actually made the video of. I'm not doing read-alongs on my channel next year. Just because. Everyone. What? Oh yeah. No one's watching this, so I mean, I'll get the video. Up. Just because, like, having read-alongs, while it's been really fun, and I'm hoping maybe the next year to bring them back, I just have not found myself with a ton of time, and so I'm reading less and less, and so I don't have any time to read. I don't have time to reread anything, and I would like very much to like reread Greycoats and reread the standalones, and
also rereading when you're gonna have a child
Makes it
you
easier.
won't have to worry about like experiencing, absorbing new stories. You already
Yeah.
know it.
Correct. Also, my project of literally making a Parker map. Like, well, I've got to reread all of his stuff, so that's fine with me. Anyway,
Yeah. So yeah, no, I really really liked this book. Like,
I liked it a lot.
of all the books, I think this is actually my favorite.
Nice.
Standalones, the collections, whatever. This is my favorite single Parker novel. I really really liked it, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of this trilogy does.
Yeah, same. I'm liking this more, much like the Folding Knife. Which the reason I like the Folding Knife so much is because I do think about Vaso as a character all the time. Because it was one of the first protagonists I read that we're told how brilliant they are, but then we see how brilliant they are. And we see that here as well. And I love that in Device and Desires, like the characters are very, very different. And Ziani is able to, he's like there have been engineers before, but there have never been engineers like Ziani Vaatstis. Like there just haven't. Like, I really believe that this dude is from Mazentio, where everyone thinks like that, except as you go up the chain, like with what's his name, Pacellus.
Sellus.
Yeah. So Pacellus doesn't think like that, and is really like, do we really want to kill everybody? Like, do we really want to wipe out a complete thing? Like, but then he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I have to, but I don't really want to. Like, it seemed like the further up they went, the less, like Ziani's just kind of at the bottom. He's one of the producers. He's one of the craftsmen, and just seeing inside their mind and seeing how they think is it's like looking at an alien being. Almost.
Well, I think that's one of the things that I really, really liked about Ziani is the literal engineering mindset, and his literal vision of other people as tools, even the descriptions of people, comparing them to various engineering capabilities, and specifically Neil Dukas. He's like, I could use him as a tool, but you gotta understand the tolerance there. And as someone who works in risk management, all the talk about tolerances and stuff like that, I'm like, this is basically risk management, buddy. I don't like this. So
but yeah, like anyway, we'll talk non-spoilers to start with. But this, I think Parker does a really good job of writing these characters that all feel very different. Like, it's just like from the fact that Valens despises hunting. He despises hunting. He hates when his dad takes him out hunting. And then in the first chapter, he's a kid, and we learn that his dad is injured and becomes like a dueling invalid. He's injured on a hunt. And yet he becomes like Gaston, basically, like this just celebrated hunter. And it's like I am never able to reconcile these two. I'm like, why, Valens? Like, what like, why?
It's because of what's her face?
Beatrice is married.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really understand why. Like, there's nothing about it that says that Beatrice really loves hunters. But regardless, his correspondence with Beatrice, who, and I mean, really, so Device and Desires is an unfortunate title because and just the cover, it looks like it's a sequel to 50 Shades of Grey. Like, it does. Like, it just, but Ziani views everyone as devices, and like everyone is like, there's a lever that you can pull to have, he's just got to discover the levers and figure out how humanity works. And then it is a love story. 3 people are in love with one woman, and then everything that happens is because Ziani is in love with his own wife and is exiled. So Ziani's in love with his wife, but Valens, Meal Ducas, and Orsea
Yeah.
are all in love with Beatrice in their various ways, whether they admit it or not. You know, Meal was supposed to marry her because that they had like been.
Are we just going on the spoilers, by the way?
This isn't spoilers. This is, I mean, this is not what I consider spoilers because it literally has nothing to do with what happens. This is just, you know,
Setup.
Okay.
this is just set up. So Meal's supposed to be with Beatrice because they were betrothed when they were kids because they're from two big noble families, like they're supposed to. And Valens loved her. This is in the first chapter. Valens loved her because she was a hostage between the two feuding countries, and he loved her when she was a kid, even though they spoke one time. And so he's carrying on a correspondence with her as kind of like a way to have her but not have her. And then Orsea loves her because he was not supposed to marry her, but was the glue to kind of cement the treaty. So he ends up marrying her at the before everything even starts. And so she loves all three of them, kind of, though she says really on balance she never really loved,
Me, I don't think she loved me.
No, but I mean she liked them. Like they grew up, they were friends, like they were close growing up. So she wasn't really ever in love with him. And I don't think she really is in love with Valens. She loves Orsea. She says it out loud. Like she thinks he's an idiot. But at the same time, it's just like, how can people not know that she's in love with him? From the doofy way she smiles when she sees him like snoozing with a book on his face, right? I think Parker's discussion and exploration of these different levels of like love and attraction is I think it's really interesting and more subtle than it appears in other fantasy books, because I think there are those levels of affection that you have for other people that may or may not be romantic. You know what I mean? And and Meal's love for Orsea, like he loves Orsea. He does. And I don't know. I think love is a bigger deal in this than one would think in a book that is not a romance. You know what I mean?
Well, doesn't KJ Parker call it a love story though?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But I mean, like
it's KJ Parker.
It's not your typical. It's not what one would think of when one hears love story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I really liked the tragedy aspect of it because I feel like throughout the book I kind of felt that like Meal and Orsea were like doomed to tragedy, and I feel like that's like a background vibe throughout all of it.
Lean into your mic, Peter. I'm having a hard time here.
So sorry. So
you're good.
I love the tragedy aspect of it with Meal and Orsea and Valens to a certain extent too, but he was felt like kind of background for this one, and kind of that inevitability of something happening just because Ziani's pulling levers and stuff like that, which is really interesting.
Exactly. So
yeah, it was great.
And we've also got, like, he hammers home a lot the fact that love is an evil thing. All of the evils in the world have been caused by love, because if you didn't love this thing, then people couldn't use it against you, or they wouldn't do dumb stuff to try to get it. Everyone would make logical and better decisions. And I mean, you can just y'all can look at y'all's lives growing up, and I know for a fact I'd have made better decisions if I wasn't, chasing being in love with people. You know what I mean? I know, at least me. Like, Ziani could have played me like a freaking fiddle, and I'd have been just like, okay, well, you're right. And I did exactly what you thought I was going to do. Go ahead, Anitha. Sorry. Yes, Matt. It's perfect so far. Nice.
I was just telling Sal that every action they make, the main motivation behind every action is love for their, wife or girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. That's the main motivation. But this is not at all a romance book. It has war, actually.
Yeah. And Evie, I think, is going to read a quote probably about love.
It's true.
I bet
I'm just going to comment. because I have to explain this like a dork. Um, Pink tabs are just lines that I like, singular lines. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Oh, yellow is just like passages, but the green are specifically engineering related, of like comparing people to tools. But so there was a scene, I think it was Neil Dukas, he was reflecting on the tapestry in his room that like kind of terrified him, and he's like, who is the hunter, who is am I the dogs at bay, am I the pig or
Unicorn or the
whatever?
girl? Unicorn or the girl?
Yes,
am I
there we
the
go.
unicorn girl?
And he's talking, and he talks about courtly love, and that is, Alan, you said that it's a lot more nuanced or whatever, and subtle in Parker's portrayal of love, and this is a love story, and I actually think it's very very opposite of that. It's very obvious and very not quite on the nose, but this is a depiction and exploration of that courtly love of medieval-esque ages.
I
But
meant, hold on. I meant in contrast to other fantasy novels.
oh,
where
got
is
it. Okay.
very it's just done differently than it is in most of the books that we read. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Which, I mean, courtly love is that medieval time, and like, so you could definitely tell the influences there. I can't remember if this was, I think this was from Ziani's perspective. Of course, I can't tell immediately, but the one of the lines that I kind of underlined is besides compassion at first sight is generally like a love at first sight. Both of them are dangerous instincts, often leading to disaster.
Yeah, that's Gianni thinks that immediately after visiting Neil in jail first time.
Okay,
Because
well, I guess we're in spoilers, guys. So,
all right, Anitha's also just a.
hey guys, so we're going to talk about spoilers.
you
Anitha.
said okay. Sorry.
I explained the background of the interpersonal relationships, not spoil a major plot point at the end of the book.
Sorry.
No one's here anyways, Alan. So
What?
no one's here anyways, Alan.
No, I know.
Right?
No one's here that hasn't read the book. It's fine.
Can we get the
Hey,
editors
it's
to
fine.
bleep that up for us?
No, it's fine. But I do want to talk about. So I like the fact that all of us have as our names our favorite characters. And then Pete with the scorpions here. So I do want to talk about.
Scorpions are a character. Come on.
I do want to talk about this because I went and reread, because one of the most, because we're talking spoilers now. Sorry guys. One of the most horrifying scenes is Ziani confronting Neil in jail, where he's like, "Hey, I want to apologize. It's my fault. I literally I ratted on you. Like, and here's how I did it. And I knew from the beginning that I could use all of you people. And it's not personal. I just really, really love my wife. And I really wish I didn't. Like, I wish I was not doing this to y'all, but I love my wife." And you get, if you're not aware that he's a monster from the beginning, you get it earlier when he's talking to Neil about
Or, like me, as the Ziani stan, you don't think he's a monster at all.
Okay, cool. Sure.
Ziani
Being the architect of a destruction of an entire kingdom, you're right. Like, good guy. But
we are talking spoilers, right? They killed women and children, Evie. Women
Yes.
and children, and he doesn't regret it.
yeah, regardless.
You gotta do what you
When
gotta
he's-
do.
You get the idea, like Pete and I think, had the same feeling to where we wanted Ziani to go after the mezzanines, right? Like, you and I
Me
were both-
too.
Yeah. So the three of us were disappointed when Ziani is actually bringing about the destruction of Aremia. But when he has that conversation with Neil about, like, so I'm not different, like, because Neil's like, it sounds like you agree with the fact that they kicked you out. And he's like, I mean, I do. Like, I screwed up and I got caught. but like, just because I'm an exile doesn't change who I am. And I'm like, oh no, like, why, Ziani? Hate them? Why do you not hate them? Because the fact that he looks at these people as just these primitive troglodytes that don't know how to make, like, they don't know how to sharpen a pencil. It's like, ugh. It's like, here you go. That thing.
I love
I
that.
think that's the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Pete. I think that's the main difference, because you are disappointed at that scene at the end, actually. But I realized Gianni is not uh, refusing or not denying his charges, that he did not make a mistake. I did not do anything wrong. That was never his argument, even in the beginning, before him running away, immediately after his running away. So that's when I realized, oh my god, he doesn't disagree with them. I started realizing then that my disappointment started then, actually, in the beginning itself.
Yeah, and it's
Then
sorry.
then when this is completely my mistake. Evie said Gianni is her favorite character. So I keep expecting some kind of redemption. Okay, he will change. He will, join with the Remians and take revenge on these Magentines. And I kept getting disappointed in every scene of him, actually.
This is literally why I don't read discussions when I'm in the middle of it, because that will happen to me. Like, I'm just really susceptible to what other people say, which is why he reads too fast. So I'll literally just mute that channel for like a month while I finish reading the book, and then like I'll mute the Tapestry Hall too, just because I'm really, really susceptible to that. And what confuses me is that Ziani does all this because he doesn't think his wife's going to be taken care of. But later on, it doesn't, it's like Pacellas or somebody is like, oh, the wife's fine. Like, we don't we don't throw out women who are, like, it's not her fault. She didn't do it. Why doesn't Ziani know that?
I think that's actually, I think that's because his friend,
what's his name? Fallier.
Yeah,
because Fallier tells him she's going to be left out in the cold.
Yeah.
What a douche. Oh, what a douche. What a douche.
Well, also, I also took from that when Silas was like, oh, she's taken care of, is like, she left because she married somebody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway,
I think
getting back here, Pacellas was almost my favorite character. He's just a bureaucrat he's just the investigator trying to get to the bottom of it. And I think there's a lot of important stuff in the Pacellas POVs that we don't realize the significance of yet, because it's there that he discovers that Ziani writes poetry. He has the interview with Ziani's wife that is one of my favorite chapters. Like, I really liked that interview with his wife, and all of the other stuff that he's uncovering or not uncovering, I think
He also uncovered about Gianni's father's book, actually.
So I think there's a lot there that we don't understand the significance of yet. And I love the fact that they have a bureaucratic office called Necessary Evil. Like, it's crap that they just have to do.
It actually, so as an aside, the way that the Mezzantine, the city, the guilds and stuff like that were set up reminds me of City of Last Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Oh yeah, the Palacine.
Yeah. So.
I agree. And I also like Parker's expected Eurocentric British imperialism swap. The dark-skinned guys are the really advanced engineer tech, and Ziani's constantly be like, these people are so pale. Like, these barbarians don't know how to do anything. These freaking pale barbarians. Like, I really liked that all of the white people are just like, we know how to hunt boar. And, Ziani's like, okay, well, we can build crap really, really fast. And you guys are savages. So I thought that was a really interesting take on, because a lot of KJ Parker's works explore savages versus civilization. Like the book Savages is the most ham-fisted of that, obviously, but you have that in the Hammer. I don't think it's not in Folding Knife very much, but it's in the Hammer where Gignamai and the you know what I'm talking about? The Hammer, the Savages people.
Yeah. And then
It's
the
in
company too.
it's in Siwas Korax, in one of them, and it's in a lot of the stuff that he writes. It's in several of the short works and everything. So I really like that. Now I'm going to talk about Mil Dukas, and because this book is also about duty and loyalty. And the reason Ziani is able to pull the levers is because he knows how people are going to react. Mil Dukas even says, like, he can't not do the right thing. It's been bred into him. And I love the discussion between Ziani and Mil about how they are similar. And Ziani's like, it's not the same at all. You did all of this. You were trained to do all of this, and you have to be perfect all of the time, and yet you resent it. You hate that you have to act a certain way and everything's expected of you. While Ziani, when he finally got perfection and was accepted into the guild after perfecting his test, to him, that perfection and following those rules gives him a sense of community and a sense of belonging, whereas Mil Dukas despises it. He hates that he's forced to do that. And I thought that was really, really interesting, that expectation is on both of them, on the Dukas family and on everyone in Mezentia. But one resents it and one embraces it. And so I loved Mil Dukas' devotion to duty, his devotion to Orsea, the fact that he does what he's supposed to do, even though he doesn't want to. He is, and at the beginning, sorry, as a side thing, at the beginning where he's gotten his scar from the original invasion, and he's like in the lack of, he can't charm women anymore because he's not super attractive because he's got that big old scar now. He's like, he'd have to try a different tack, like eloquence or sincerity. Like he has to now, he can't get along on his noble birth and good looks. He's going to have to try to either be a good talker or act, or, pretend like he cares about stuff. So comment on Mil Dukas.
Yeah, no, I think it's not just the kind of juxtaposition of Mil Dukas and Ziani in their senses of duty and purpose and stuff like that. I like the dynamic between Mil Dukas and his brother Jarnak. Is it his brother or his
Jarnak,
yeah,
Jarnak.
his brother
Cousin.
or cousin.
Cousin Jarnak.
Thank you.
Jarnak's the real Gaston.
Yeah. And I think Mil Dukas even mentions of, like, you expect Jarnak to be that person, the leader, the duke, or whatever, because he's strapping, he's strong, or whatever. But Jarnak is like, yeah, I don't have the what do you call it, the expectations on me, so I can act however I want.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think Jarnak shows that he wouldn't, like, at least in the beginning of he freaks out when Mil isn't around to command at the beginning of the battle. Like, he shows that he's not used to that pressure.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. Anitha, thoughts on Mil?
Definitely, like, one of my favorite characters overall in Parker books. He's such a great character, as you said. He's all about duty and loyalty, and he did not even think about, running away from prison or betraying Orsia, even though Orsia is wrong. I mean, two times he has to choose between Orsia and Beatrice. The first time, not giving that letter to Orsia, he chose Beatrice. At the end, he chose Orsia. He went after him instead of going for to save Beatrice. So I think he is, as exactly predicted and used by Gianni, he's stuck between both of them. Duty to both of them, love for both of them.
Well, that's what Ziani says, is that at one point he was, or Mil thinks about it, he is pulled literally in the two different directions by his equal duty to both of them. And that's why he gets stuck with the letter. His duty to Orsea and his duty to her conflict. And so Ziani knows that will cause him to equivocate. And that's why he saves the letter, is he doesn't know what to do because of the two conflicting duties. And so he does nothing, which is hide the letter. And Ziani knows that. And Ziani's brilliant. Like, he's brilliant. He's a fascinating character, even though I do not like him now. I do not like him at all. Now, what do you think? So I want to comment on this. We're not even 100% certain that Falier is the one that ratted him out. I think we think he is. But only his wife knew. So his wife would have had to tell Falier, right? Like, she's the only one that knew. That we are led to believe that, at least. Right? Am I wrong there?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a limited perspective, so there's got to be there's got to be a twist that we're gonna find out in the second book.
Either she did it on purpose, or she told Falier on accident, or they're working together. We don't know. But
wait, how old is their son?
6.
Their daughter.
Daughter. 6.
Daughter, sorry.
6.
I wonder if maybe she talked about something.
That's possible.
Oh, I thought it was a surprise gift. Like, the daughter didn't know about it.
He gave it to his daughter, though. He gave it to her. She's had it.
Oh, I thought
Like,
it was.
It was a surprise for her, but she got. She got.
I thought he hadn't given it to her yet.
Oh, I thought he had. So hold on. So, Eva's convinced that the wife is trying to get rid of Ziani, which I understand. Now, I thought he was trying to trap Falier. When he was sending those letters. And so I had not thought about this right here till you just said it, Matt. I think it is possible that he's playing the long game to get Falier killed. Like, it is possible. And knowing Parker, it's probably likely.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I thought that until you just said it. Like, I don't think he knows everything. Like, I don't think he knows it's Falier, because if he did, he would have done something at the beginning. Or do you think he just has figured it out in the time that's passed?
I think a lot of it is...
Gianni is the only one who knows Falier received that letter long before 17,000 or 23,000 people died. So he's definitely playing the long game there, actually, to set up Falier. But as Matt said, I don't think wife is in on it. At least... she isn't in love with Falier, or so.
The biggest thing to close out Meal Dukas is Ziani has left that. Like, I think he assumed Dukas was going to die in the assault, but Meal Dukas is alive. So that is a variable that I do not think Ziani has accounted for. And even though Meal doesn't know that Ziani is the traitor that let in, that's how they got in, because they still don't know how it happened. He does know that Ziani, like, he confessed that he's using all of them. So I am concerned that Meal is going to get, I hope that Meal is going to get that information to Valens. And
at the end, when the cabinet meeting is going on, they decided first to deal with the rebellion and, in the forest. I think they deal with Meal and his gang first before the war with Valens. I'm not sure if Meal survives until he meet Meal and, Valens and others.
Yeah. We'll see. I think
it's definitely like a long game. I think from the very beginning, like the Aremian like downfall of the city, I don't think that wasn't really a disappointment for me, because I think there were things that were set up in the beginning that made me think Ziani's going to go to Valens. Like, I didn't actually think in the beginning he was going to go to Aremia. I think he was just going to peace out and go to Valens, because that's where the money is. That's where Valens is as a character. And he seems like someone who would like be much more appreciative of Ziani, because he has like a sort of engineering mindset going on within his own mind. So I really do think that Ziani's long game was to get to Valens, because Aremia doesn't have enough money to be able to like put together an army to mount an attack on Mezzentia or whatever it's called. And
and I think Billy's right here.
Yeah,
initially, yeah.
he has a good point here. Actually, that guy, what is that guy who was the head of that? I mean, who came to that necessary evil and planned all this war? He was
Passalis.
already planning the war. Maybe they were looking for some scapegoat for that to happen. I don't know. They said,
Not Passalis' other guy, the other guy. Yeah.
yeah, Bionis, something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I think-
So
I think
we
it's
don't.
entirely possible.
So we're not here for 2 years, or for 2 hours.
Well,
Pete.
I was going
What?
to say it's entirely possible that they were looking for a scapegoat, but I don't think they purposely set that up for Ziani to be the scapegoat. I think they
Somehow someone found out that Ziani went beyond specification, and we don't know how yet. I'm hoping that it will be revealed, and it certainly will.
When Sellus found his father's book, my first doubt was, since his father was already smart, maybe they were already looking at Gianni closely. You know that what he's doing.
Maybe
It's possible.
Pete. So Pete, you have put Ponderings of Scorpions.
Yes.
Why are the mechanisms of destruction your favorite character?
There's just a lot about them, and it just I think it really illustrates like what we were talking about earlier with the differences between like savages versus civilization kind of theme. Like we get that one scene with in the stable where he's like making a like disc or whatever. He's like, "This is terrible," and the blacksmith is like, "This is the most perfect thing
Yes.
I've ever seen."
Has like a crisis of like existential crisis of like
It's like perfect level.
Poor guy, poor can't accuse him.
Yeah.
That was really great. But then like Ziani, it just really illustrates some of the themes of what Ziani's doing with he's the Scorpions feel like I show how villainous Ziani is, because I think from any other perspective, if anybody else would write this, Ziani would be the villain. Like we would be getting a mezzanine perspective of, oh, we tossed this guy out and now he's going to come tear down our civilization in vengeance.
That's one of the things. That's one of the most common things said about the folding knife. If
Mhm.
anybody else's story, Basso's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Parker has such a talent for doing what he does, where it's like in the hands of anyone else, this guy is the main antagonist.
Yeah, absolutely. And just I like the musings on technology that this kind of like how
Yes.
just I don't know how to put it into words right now,
No,
but
I
bestowing
love
technology upon barbarians, basically.
yes how they the exploration when he first offers to and they have the council meeting about it, where he knows that there is no going back. Like once you have introduced this technology, you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. Like you cannot return to to a world of sticks and stones now that you've introduced the nuclear bomb. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I absolutely right, Pete. I love the musings on technology and the consequences of technology.
Yeah.
Like, did anyone expect that? I mean, obviously, when we thought about Facebook or the internet, that we would have the mental health crisis among young people because of freaking social media. Like no one wanted to uncork that bottle and let that degin out.
I have another quote to. Really, KJ Parker just answers like
Go ahead.
all of our questions. It's what is it? It's during like the what is it, the trial thing at the very start. Surely it is self-evident that once an object leaves its maker's hands, it passes out of his control. The mere act of creating it is enough. And then later, well, there's that. So like we have no control over what happens after we've created something. It's just
Once the knowledge.
Even after him. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you finished.
Oh no, I was just gonna also I was gonna add on that later, a few chapters later, Ziani is talking about Duke Orsea and Mil Dukas, and he says he didn't believe in destiny any more than he believed in goblins. If the iron ore was destined to end up as finished products, there'd be no need for an engineer. And it's just this no pun intended, the mechanisms that go into play, interpersonal relationships, politicizing and everything like that. It's just like,
In the same context, you read the quote previously about compassion at the first sight is weakness. In the same context, he said, like, if someone pushed me, from the top, if I fell on Neil Dukas and he broke a leg, is it my fault? It is the fault of someone who pushed me. It's the same case here. They started it, Magenta, and so he always compares that, with his actions and how relate that relation with the machines.
And even though he says, doesn't believe in destiny, he also talks about how every action he takes is predetermined. Once he started on this course, he could only take the successive actions he takes were the only course of action that he could take. It's like an assembly line or a process that he has begun that he cannot change. Like, he cannot stop this once he has started, because the next logical step is the decision he makes.
Yeah, it's again that literal engineering mindset of he is every person, every political area, they're all in cogs or they're part of this huge
it's like coding. If then this. Yeah.
So and also he's been set on this path. He's been created to do this thing. He can't stop. He has to follow it through.
Go ahead and keep talking about Ziani. We'll just transition into you. You can just explain your love of Ziani.
Oh, I thought we already talked about Ziani a little bit.
I mean, no, but we did, but we haven't. I mean, because he's the main guy, but you haven't gushed about your love for Ziani yet. Why he's your favorite?
Oh, okay. Well, so
yes, Matt. I'm so glad Matt's here to input.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
True. I mean, don't we all justify our own actions and good or bad. And unfortunately, a lot of people try to justify or try to justify their own actions based on other people's reactions, or oh, I did this because this person did it, or as a reaction. But anyways, so Ziani, again, going back to the whole tolerance level stuff, I just love how Ziani, an action is taken, it shifts the tolerance level, and he basically has to balance it out to make sure that everyone's within that tolerance level that he thinks about, and he's basically manipulating people to make sure that they're within that tolerance level, and that's how he's able to make the next action or the next step and plan things 5 steps ahead, because he's within that tolerance level. And I just love that. There was a quote somewhere. Of course, I have too many markers here, but generally, I just like Ziani because he's so fascinating. I don't see how he's such a horrible character. Everyone's a horrible character in this.
I agree. I think Neil is a good guy. I don't think he's horrible. I don't think Orsea's horrible. I think Valence you can get away with. So Anitha, be prepared to defend why Valence isn't a complete and utter douche. I like Valence. Douche.
See, same as Basso. Basso is not like a great noble guy, but we still like him.
Do not drag Basso down into your mudslinging, Anitha.
See, I agree that Valence is not exactly a good guy, but I like him because he accepts what he's doing. Even at the end, when he goes back, that he thought about Arcia, that who will go and start a fight with one of the most powerful nation who doesn't know how to forget and forgive, and that's exactly what I did now. He knows what he did. That's why I like him. He's smart. I mean, we haven't seen him yet in this one. He's mostly like a secondary character, but I think we'll see him more in the next book.
Yeah.
But he's very intelligent character. Out of all, if there is anyone who can match Gianni's intelligence, at least who comes near to Gianni's intelligence, that is going to be Valence. Meal
I-
may be Meal may be good guy, but I felt so many times, how stupid are you? You know,
He's just like there's a quote where it's like people do stupid things because it's expected of them. That's why the whole army got destroyed at the very beginning. But I love what you're saying here. I can understand Ziani without sympathizing with him. He became the unambiguous villain to me when he was thinking about his plans to hand the ashes of Mazentia to Beatriz for her to walk on. Hold on, the ashes of Mazentia? You mean the ashes of Aremia? Right? Because he's not crushing Mazentia. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I mean, he's gonna try.
It's true.
But the thing is, he doesn't want to destroy Mazentia. He likes Mazentia. I don't understand what the murdering of Mazentians with the Scorpions has to do with his long-term plan, because he freaking yawns and goes away before he explains it to Meal. And it's driving me crazy. What's the end game, Ziani?
I think
That's why there are two other
Yeah.
books.
I think at the end,
Oh, I love
at
Parker.
the end he knows. Sorry, I think at the end he knows Eremians can't win against Major. He had to pull Valence because Valence has money. He has at least the power to go against Magentia. That is the only way he can reach his wife. At least that. And I am not sure how Cure Hardy will come into picture here, but I think they will.
Oh, the Cure Hardy and the Cure Doke are coming in 100%. We're gonna the Desert Cavalry tribes are coming in at some point, as is the secret path across the desert that no one knows about. Like, who knows when that's going to come in? But even though the Vidani have money, they don't have tech. Like, they're not
But
metal
Gianni
workers.
is going to build now. Same as how he built for Ermians.
Yeah, but he has to have the capabilities. It says a bunch of times that the Vidani just have money to buy stuff. It's Aremia that has, like, they don't have ore, but they do have the like, they have smiths, because they don't have the money to purchase their stuff. Like, Vidani doesn't have anything, because they don't need it. They just have money that they buy crap from Mazentia. Go ahead, Iggy.
And Magentia now owes a buttload of money, to Vadani. They loaned money from Vadani. How can they declare war on Vadani?
Mazentia has no money anymore because they've spent all their money hiring these mercs for this freaking war, from what I understand. Go ahead, Evie. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So I found the quote that I was thinking about before, but I think this also is a great example of. I just kind of made this realization as we were talking about Ziani's end game with Mazentia, is that I think even though he loves Mazentia, he's like, oh yeah, that's right, I was out of line, whatever. I think potentially his long game is to create a more perfect Mazentia, in that this passage is, perfection is most often attained. He's reading from one of the books. I think his father's book or something like that. Perfection is most often attained, or more usually aspired to, through the destruction or removal of material. Such destroyed or discarded material is referred to as waste. Waste can be created by separation, for instance by sawing off surplus material, or by attrition, e.g. filing, turning. The creation of waste can therefore be partially or wholly destructive. It is policy that wherever possible, partial destruction is preferred to total destruction, since surplus material that is only partially destroyed, offcuts for example, can often be put to good use. However, this preference should not be allowed to interfere with the imperatives of precision. Thus, where a more exact result can be obtained by a wholly destructive process, e.g. filing or milling, than by a partially destructive one, such as sawing or chain drilling, total destruction is preferred. Acceptable levels of waste are, of course, allowed for in all specifications, and in any attempt to reduce waste beyond the specified levels is prohibited. As the report of the Ninth General Review Committee puts it, waste is part and parcel of any properly conducted procedure. Material is there to be cut and destroyed in the furtherance of the design.
This felt like an exam question. I read 3 times last night. I still remember those lines.
Yeah. Anitha, is Valens your favorite character, or did you just like?
Process of elimination.
I like both Valence and Dukas actually. I just
Okay,
you
well, you
already
can't pick
chose
Dukas.
Dukas, that's why I chose Valence here.
Okay, cool. So explain why you like Valens. I can hear. I just gotta go to the restroom. Sorry.
I think okay. See, there are many times I like both Dukas and Valence, but there are times I felt Neil a little stupid because when they decided not to take Gianni's offer in the initial council meeting, when Gianni was there, he met when Meal comes to meet Gianni. Meal tells that you can go to Adani, they have money, they might take your offer. I mean, I was like, how can he suggest that? Because Vadani is the Ermian's enemy. If they take up Gianni's offer and make those scorpions, they can use them against Ermians. How can Meal suggest Gianni to go and offer the same thing to Vadani? That's such a stupid thing. So those small things, I felt Meal not thinking politically, but Valence never made those kind of stupid things.
I think a lot of that has to do with Meal's faith in the treaty. I think he probably thought, I don't know what he thought that Valens would do with them, but I think he has a lot of faith in that there is a treaty because of just like the tradition and the holding to your word that is built on ingrained into Meal's personality. It's like, okay, we have a treaty, so we're going to stick to it. Period.
Again, that goes back to that like courtly. I'm gonna say courtly love, but like just the duty stuff, and that goes into this sense of responsibility, or what's the word? This upholding of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So-
the two books that are referenced throughout is a book on manners, and etiquette and fashion, and then a book on hunting.
Yep.
Those are the two books that are what?
Did you guys know Gianni was acting when he froze during the boar hunting? Or did you
No,
guys-
I didn't. No, I just thought it makes sense because I couldn't figure out why he wanted to go.
I guessed it actually. I was sure he wanted that letter. I was only confused because how did he know about that letter? I was only confused there, but I was very sure he was acting.
He knows about the letter because because he explains it.
Yeah. See,
Because
this is the problem actually. I mean, in this book, I expected every scene actually. I knew Gianni was acting. I knew he was going to use. What?
This is you, Anitha. Well, that mystery, and then there were none. I guessed it from the very beginning of the introduction of the character. Everything he did, I knew that it was a movement meant to deceive and throw him off track.
I don't
that
talk
red
like
herring was
that.
not convincing. I was not convinced by this red herring. I guessed it all. What a plebeian effort at an attempt to fool us. I was not fooled, unlike you troglodytes. Right, Anitha? Is that what you're doing? Make sure you push your glasses up. That's what Anita's doing right now. She's like, I guessed it. Oh, you lesser minds didn't understand what was going on. I knew it the whole time.
Anitha, what's the ending of the third book going to be like then?
Don't tell
I have
me.
no
Because
idea.
you'll probably be right. Don't tell me.
I
Don't
don't
say
have
it.
no idea.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, Anitha. I interrupted you very rudely.
The only thing I am sure is, have you guys read this? You have the same copy, right? Have you read this interview
No,
at the end?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't.
So he said something like, I can't find that answer now.
Oh,
I can't wait to see how Valence
spoil it. I
handles.
forgot.
Okay.
I forgot. Don't spoil it. People can read if they want. I read it and I forgot it. Because
Okay.
I think I might give something away.
So I'm just predicting for next book. It's okay. Okay. My main problem is you guys were talking about, justifying. We all want to justify both good and bad things. I understand that actually, but at the same time, I think this is the first time I did not like how Parker approached that thing in Gianni, whereas in other books it was very subtle actually. In this one, he kept coming to the same point where Gianni kept thinking, they started it, I did not. It's not my problem. He kept thinking, about, obviously it's bothering him. He is feeling guilty. That's why he keeps thinking about it, but somehow I did not like it actually. I was pissed.
So, counter argument, going back to the engineering mindset, things that are built or engineered, these, take the scorpions for example, they're supposed to do the same thing over and over again. Ziani is just gonna think about the same thing over and over again, and he sees himself as neither the start of an engineering project nor the end. He is
The
in
floor
the
manager.
midst of it. I'm sorry?
He's the floor manager.
Yeah, he's the floor manager. He's in the midst of it. Let's say it. He sees himself as an actual. He sees himself as like a cog in the wheel, not the
Yeah.
wheel itself,
See-
nor the. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But
See, that's my main issue from the back of the book. Sorry, Ellen, just one last point.
Oh,
From the back of the book, I loved the back of the book. I was like, when I read this, I am going to love this book, because it's all about like the expectation of, okay, this guy will come out and fight the entire Magentine. It's like revolution. That's what my expectation was. But it turned out Gianni is the true Mezentine. He believes in those policies. He's not a rebel to go and do revolution against Magentine to take down. If he's bringing down Magentine, it's for his personal reasons. He doesn't have any problem with their policies. And
so similar
that,
to Robin Hobb, do not read the back of KJ Parker books, because I had this experience with the Hammer of making the mistake of reading the back of the Hammer, and it not only ruined some stuff for me in the Hammer, but it set like unrealistic expectations.
yeah. So
And it sounds like it did that for you, Anitha.
I read the back, but it doesn't ever bother me. Like reading the back of the folding knife, you know exactly what Basso does, which I mean, it appears it's like the second or third chapter. But I like the fact that Ziani is not he's not one of the governing bodies of Mezentia. He is a cog. Like he's slightly above a cog. He's a cog that supervises other cogs, and he really does believe in all of that. And he thinks of
sorry. Sorry.
He good?
he thinks of people as he thinks of people in the same way he thinks of the scorpions. People are there to do it, and that's because he believes in the superiority of the Mezentines. They're the perpetual republic. That's what they're called.
They are the perfection. And he is, going back to that passage that I read, like either partial disposal or whole, or partial destruction or whole destruction. I think he's going for whole destruction at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the people in charge aren't as. I think they have a different mindset where,
Yeah.
just like Matt's saying here, is like he talks about how they demand perfection, but at the same time, like they're the ones who are wrong. The real abomination is the fact of that you can't improve upon perfection, and so I don't know. I think the people at the top probably feel kind of differently. I will say, I love that in this book, more than any other Parker book that I've read, we actually learn about a freaking society. Like we learn so much about Mezentia. More, like usually they're just places and we learn very little. I mean, we do learn a lot about the Vasani Republic in in Folding Knife, but nothing like what we learn about Mazentia in this one. And Mazentia City is mentioned in so many books of Parker's books.
They were mentioned in The Hammer too, right?
Yeah, they're mentioned everywhere. And hold on. Does Yanni adhere to the religion of the guilds? I mean, that's. I think there is too much we do not know, and that is why I am excited to go on, because
Alan, in the beginning, in Sellers POV, we got to know that there are some, what is the word they use? Some people actually, some inventors who cannot resist inventing and trying to. Alan, did you pause or you were stuck in that? Are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen.
No. They can improve upon infection.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Only in weaponry. Only in weaponry.
Yeah, only military.
Yeah. So they might try. I mean, it's the inventing part in that they want to make it better, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't believe in that policies. He knows that is wrong, but the what is that curiosity in him wants to try and make it better.
It's almost as if these characters have complex motivations.
What?
Yeah.
So I just want to add that from a Mezzanine perspective, I can see why they would, not practice what they preach like the higher ups, in that if they require and kind of enforce these rules of perfection and engineering and, don't do abominations or don't be an abomination, it's a means of control. As long as people can stay within these confines, they can control it. Again, the whole tolerance thing. If people are just creating stuff willy-nilly and outside of standard design practices, they can't control that. They can't control those people. So again, it's that engineering mindset. If you can control the mindset, you can control the people.
Word.
So.
Yep. Yeah, they're trying to control for disruptions of society as well. When you look at it, they're preventing people from invention. What if all of a sudden somebody created an invention that basically made most of the tailoring guild just ineffective, obsolete? Exactly. Yeah. That would throw off their entire political structure, and so they're trying to prevent that as well.
Which, by the way, I thought it was so fascinating. Well, not fascinating, but it was interesting that they're also they don't even have a failsafe. Their entire society is built on providing everyone else these engineering marvels, and they keep 10%. They use 10% of it, and they export 90% of what they create. And if any engineer leaves, they basically go out and kill them because they're we can't have anybody else create stuff.
Because their entire society is based on these exports. They can't have the knowledge of how to make. They can't have knockoff. They can't have knockoff. I also really love that the political factions, unlike in Visani, where you have the Optimates, you've got the aristocrats, and then the People's Party and whatever. Their factions are guilds. The freaking Tailors Guild has a bunch of seats on the council. They're in rise, while the Metal Guild is
Foundry.
Yeah, thank you. Foundry is in decline, or whatever it was. I liked that the different guilds are in charge there. But regardless, this was a really good book. I'm still thinking about it. It's still vying for me. Cicero is trying to punch it repeatedly so that it doesn't overtake him. So far, Imperium is still my top read of the year. I'm wondering if once I finish, I will look back. I don't know. We'll see. So, but Devices and Desires is right below Imperium for me.
You can have favorites as a tier and not a number, Alan.
I mean, sure, except that it's a top 10 list. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. If anything's fighting that close, it's it's a close run thing. So, yeah.
Can I make one last point, actually? Okay. See, at least so far, what I read, Parker's female characters never bothered me actually. I know they don't have, I mean, whatever role they played, they have some agency. They never made me uncomfortable until this book actually.
What?
So, yeah, until
I
this book.
completely disagree. Go ahead.
At the end actually, especially with Beatrice's character. See, I understand she is always went to some other place, as a hostage, so she did not learn much, but she doesn't know anything. She does not know that secret passageway to Duke's house. She does not know that there is a passageway to tunnels. I mean,
No one knows it.
she wasn't trained in anything. I mean, she is the
She's a
daughter of
noble. She doesn't know how to do anything.
yeah,
She's not, nothing's
that's
expected from her. Neil
that's
Dukas doesn't know how to do anything either.
he knows hunting, he knows fighting, he was trained
Again,
actually in
Those
every
are
Courtney
skills.
Love, women aren't supposed to know anything except
yeah,
how to
yeah, I'm coming
sew.
there. I'm coming there. See, she's obviously a duchess, going to be, duchess, and they are not in peace actually. They were on war with Vadani from long time. So why wasn't she trained about escape routes?
Oh, why? Anitha's mad that the world works differently than she wants it to. Why did Parker not have Beatrice be Joan of Arc and take up the
I
sword and
am I
armor?
am not I'm not expecting her to be the, like um
Drawn female character.
yeah,
Okay,
but
no,
Look,
hold on. No. I dislike Parker's female characters in everything, in every book until this book. Like I think Beatrice is so much better than Storakia from Siwas Korax, which, and like Zara really likes Storakia. I don't know if you like Storakia, but I don't like Storakia. Like every single Parker character, a female in the other books, I like Basso's second wife. Um, hate his sister. Hate. You about to say his sister's good? Do you like his sister? You didn't see a problem with his sister, Anitha? You like
I'm
Basso's
not
sister?
saying
Great
I like
character.
them or not like them. I said that they have some role to play in the story. In this also she has a role to play, but see, Gianni gave two hints to her. She did not pick up on them. He talked about the tunnels. That's a big hint actually. Well, if Valence knows, he can, at least doubt him. And when Valence and cavalry entered, Gianni first thing Gianni said was, "Thank God for the romance." She did not even get doubt.
The okay. Yes, the female characters in other Parker books have roles to play, but that's all they are. Like they're like plot devices. In this one, I liked it because for the first time, like they have personalities and they do things other than to be unpleasant and be like, "Oh, it's you," and to just like insult the male lead, which is what they do in every other book.
So it was
I was I was about to come at you for that, but that's basically what they are in the company.
That's what I'm saying.
that's
They
what
call them
she
that. They
is in
call them
Cyrus
cows
Corax
in the
actually.
company. In the company, they call them like they need them to breed. The company does it on purpose and treats them terribly. Anyway,
Yeah.
Anitha, I get what you're saying. This is the first book that I actually really liked, both female characters.
Yeah, I like
Gianni.
Beatrice.
I
I am
agree.
not saying I don't like her. I like her a lot, but I was a little disappointed that she doesn't know that.
I feel like Beatrice's role is gonna be a lot more active in the next book because we're gonna have Valens and Orsia in the same house, and then Meal's probably gonna come up with this dark and edgy arc.
I'm gonna need at some point, like I liked Orsea the best, even though he was being a douche when he was just like, oh, really? Are you? Oh, you're writing a letter? Who to? Like when she goes and sees him after he's found out, it's my favorite Orsea scene because he's finally at least having some kind of backbone. I'm gonna need, like, I like Orsea a lot, but I cannot deal with the pity party much longer. Like one book was enough. I can't deal with the second book of Orsia being like, like he's got to do something else in this next book. He's got to, like, or he needs to die. I don't want him to, but if he's got to die so I can stop listening to it, it's fine.
Honestly, I wanted him. I was kind of disappointed that he was still alive.
Oh, of course you are, Evie.
I mean, it was supposed to be a tragedy of Meal and Orsia. I'm very surprised that one of them didn't die.
I go back to Mazentia, you two, like, and leave us peasants out here, please. Ruining everybody's life.
I think Orsia is like comatose or something.
Hunting
Like that.
accident.
He was injured. That's all we know.
Yeah, but
he
Jarnak,
wasn't comatose because at the end, sorry, Ellen, I kept interrupting you. He kept yelling actually at the end when those horses are jolting and all. But Jarnak was the one who is sleeping actually. He was tired.
That's right. I'm getting the.
He's a kick-ass character, Jarnak.
But yeah, I understand. Jimmy, shut up. I understand. I understand Orsia. Like, I'm like, why doesn't Meal just explain to him? But I mean, I understand that Orsia, it wouldn't matter. Like his best friend, who he trusted more than anybody, he trusted Meal more than he trusted Beatrice, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy he trusted more than anybody in the world lied to him. And because of that, he can't trust anything he says. At least he feels that he can't. So I do understand it, even though I'm like, this is the stupidest misunderstanding I've ever seen in my life. Why can't y'all talk it out? But I mean, I get it. Like that level of betrayal that he feels is, I mean, I get it. It makes you do foolish things.
Actually, in that scene, I felt for Beatrice because he actually tells her that I don't even trust even if you say my name now. That's like heartbreaking. I was like, I mean, I want, obviously Orsia is going to know the truth now, but I want Beatrice to be pissed with Orsia. Like, no, don't talk to me.
The thing about his name is especially heartbreaking because of the way that she says his name to wake him up. Like, it's just full of this adoration that she has for this man. And, you know, like, no, like don't even do it. Like, don't even say my name. Like, all that adoration that I've heard when you've called my name before, like, I don't believe it. Like, you're a freaking liar. And no, he didn't read it, Matt. He didn't read it. He's literally just making horoscopic statements that can apply to really anything.
Yes.
You know, even without context, Jimmy's comments are like
I mean, there's undertones of insecurity.
On point.
Yeah, there's not
even undertones.
Anyway, so we're gonna wrap up here.
Come in with a wrench or a jackhammer.
No, we're wrapping up. I'm not extending this for Jimmy's nonsense. No.
I
we're
have one
it up.
question.
Is it about something Jimmy's saying?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Do we think that Meal is going to lean on any door frames with his villain arc next book?
No, he's not going to be a villain.
He's not going to be villain. He just
will not be complete. That definitely sounds like a villain.
He will not make stupid things out of duty or loyalty. He just do what he thinks is right. That's all. He's not going to be villain.
But like, duty has betrayed him.
No, Ziani's betrayed him. I don't think he thinks he's wrong. I think he thinks Ziani is wrong. But I don't know.
Everybody's a villain, Jimmy.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. We will talk about the next one. Hold on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder how long Gianni will fool Valence. How long it will be, for Valence to catch up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think Valence is going to be a harder mark than Orsia and Meal for sure. Especially since he can't pull on the lever of Valence and Beatrice right now. Like, he's lost that lever. So that will be, I think it'll be really interesting to see how this works out, because they're all there. I mean, Orsea, Beatriz, Ziani, and Valens are all in one place. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys in the chat, Eva, Matt, Billy. Thanks for your commentary.
Jimmy?
What?
Jimmy?
No, I chose my words correctly. At any rate. Oh, okay. Well, Jimmy threw a 5 spot, forcing me to acknowledge him. Jimmy, isn't Jimmy the real Ziani now? Pulling on the levers of
No wonder I love Jimmy so much. Love you, Jimmy.
This Wednesday there will be Mistress of the Empire discussion. Please do appear and make us laugh.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about Mistress of the Empire, which the first book is still my favorite. The ending of that book, Anitha, like I subtracted an entire half a star for just because the ending.
Anyways.
Same.
Anyway, moving on. Pay to win. Yes, this game's pay to win, Jimmy. All right.
Very
Bye, guys.
excited for this book.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Guess what I'm starting?
Bye, everyone.